So, I have with me today at the Goodie shop Roger Augustine. That you're a regional chief, aren't you?
Yep.
And you're involved with land claims, and you're involved with environmental resources, and you're involved with a lot of negotiating between First Nations in Canada. Is that how you'd put it?
Well, first of all, this is a good timing. Before I walked in the restaurant, I received a call from our office, and that the Prime Minister Trudeau has approved our funding request to continue the Assembly of First Nations at a full force and full speed, which is really good. And it's and my involvement is not only politics too, right? I do a lot of ceremonies with friends. I'm not a I don't do ceremonies myself. I take part.
Yes.
I have a friend by the name of Tully Paul from Minnetonka.
I met him.
Yeah.
He was when the Prime Minister was here. He was here. Yes.
We also did a ceremony in Bathurst, the celebration of the anniversary of the 75th year of the Juno.
Right.
Yeah, and we managed to get there on time and managed to get the ceremony done, and it was really incredible. Like it does a powerful ceremony.
Right.
And Tully is going to be involved in another initiative I'm working on, and that is the men's and boys wellness. We're putting together a wellness center. We are now approaching different people for funding. So that's another thing that he does. And but one of the areas that I wanted to talk about this morning, of course, is wellness program for men and boys wellness.
Yes, you were involved in starting a substance abuse center.
Yep.
I call it Eel Ground, and you call it
Adawanic.
Yeah.
We did.
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun was one, but that time in 1978 or 9, it was a drug and alcohol education center.
Okay.
We introduced that in the community, took over an old school, and we turned that into the drug and alcohol education center. And that, I was thinking about that this morning, so I wanted to mention, because we all started together there, like Cindy Guinness, John Herman Ward, and Darlene Francis. I remember, I still have a lot of pictures that go back to that time.
Yeah. And has it had a good effect on First Nations people?
When you initiate a program like that, it takes a long time to see if it made a difference, right?
Right.
It took about 10 years to be able to do an assessment. And we interviewed some of the kids that started with us at the Eel Ground School and Nutawahanic School.
Yeah.
And we moved fairly quickly with it. And from there, we managed to work with treatment centers and across the province. Very successful. And even today now, we still, the Rising Sun is very active and serves 8 to 11 communities. And sometimes we serve more than our jurisdiction. We take on.
What would your jurisdiction be?
Well, right now we have about 11 First Nations communities. And that's all within New Brunswick.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, I must respect and mention we work with the Willistok, the Nauset Nation, and the Passamaquoddy people. We work with them, so we could well work with anyone and everyone. And at this moment, as I speak, I recall working with a very fine lady by the name of Joyce Paul.
Right.
Joyce was a director at the Rising Sun, and she played a major role. Very respectful person, and we miss her terribly.